Hello, 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 my loves. As always, I hope that this video finds you well and in excellent spirits. Welcome to another edition of the Weekly Astro Forecast live here in the Astro Room on YouTube. I am your host and your favorite astrologer, Mel of Divine Feminine Works, where I help people unlock their divinity and discover their magic. So if this is our first time meeting, welcome. And as always, if you are returning, welcome back. This channel is everything astrology, spirituality, and manifestation. So if those are the things you like, if those are the things you love, or if those are the things you want to learn more about, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so you'll always be notified when I come out with new content. All right, my love. So this is the weekly astro forecast for the week of November 25th through December 1st. Is that correct? Yes, the 25th through December 1st. All right. So hopefully you guys are feeling well because today starts one of our absolute favorite things, Mercury Retrograde. Mercury is going retrograde in the sign of Sagittarius, so it will be chilling in Sagittarius for a little while. So wherever Sagittarius is in your natal chart is where this is all going down. Now, astrologically speaking, there isn't that much going on this week. However, the one thing that I will say about the astrology is that we're going to start to feel this feeling of things slowing down. Okay. Because not only is Mercury retrograde today, but next week, Mars is going to go retrograde. And whenever Mars goes retrograde, we really feel it because Mars is the planet of energy, of physical exertion. And so when it goes retrograde, everything slows down. So we're going to start to feel that beginning this week. All right. And that's not a bad thing, right? You know, over the last couple of weeks, it's like the downloads I've been receiving, the messages I've been receiving have really been about slowing down, surrendering, going with the flow, not pushing too hard. And that can feel very counterintuitive because we are so used to go, 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 make things happen, hustle, grind. But retrogrades, even Mercury retrograde, with all of its craziness and chaos, is the universe's way of saying slow down, right? Because there's nothing worse than a lot of times we feel like stagnancy is a really bad thing, or, you know, we're very stagnant averse, let me say. But you know what's even worse? Going in the wrong direction fast, or even doing the wrong thing repeatedly and consistently, right? And it's like, you may not realize it in the moment, right? In the moment, you feel like you're doing the things, that you're making headway, even if you're going the absolutely wrong direction. It's not until you realize that you've been going in the wrong direction that you're like, damn, I spent all this time, I've been spinning my wheels, and I've been headed the wrong way, right? So retrograde is really a time to assess, where am I actually going? What am I actually doing? Where have I been putting my energy? And this is definitely going to be the case for Mars retrograde. Now, I'm going to go into that next week because it's happening next week. But again, we're going to start to feel the energy this week. So I kind of want to give you a little bit of preparation, right? Because it can be frustrating. Because think of it this way, Mars is like putting your foot on the gas. And we love to go, right? We love to be in motion. In motion for most of us means productivity. It means working towards something. It means making our way to a goal. And so when you have a car with no gas, it's like you can't go anywhere. And it's so frustrating because you have the vehicle, you just don't have the energy that powers that vehicle. And that can be really how Mars retrograde can feel. However, again, it's the universe's way of saying, listen, slow down. What is the rush? Do you even know where you're going? Do you even know what you want? It's time to get really intentional. And we start that with Mercury retrograde this week. All right. And then we also have a new moon at the end of this week, or should I say the beginning of next week on Sunday in the sign of Sagittarius. So not only are we slowing down with this retrograde energy, but as we make our way to the new moon, we're in the waning phase of the lunar cycle. And so that's like getting rid of things. It also has, I wouldn't necessarily say that it's an energy of slowing down, but it's an energy of letting go. Right. And so the astrology for the next couple of weeks, it may feel a little challenging in the sense that not that it necessarily is harsh, but that it's just not moving fast enough, right? But there's always a good reason. There is a method to the universe's madness. All right. So before I get into the rest of the details of the astrology for the week, of course, housekeeping and announcements. So if you are joining me here on the live this evening, thank you so much for tuning in. I see respectfully Cicada. I see Patricia Jean. Thank you guys for tapping in. If you would say hello on your way in, as well as give this video a thumbs up, it really, really, really helps the channel, right? Because it disseminates this information. If you like it, then the algorithm will push it out to other people who may like it. So it definitely helps the channel. So thank you for that. If you are watching this on the replay, I appreciate you just as much. Hopefully you get what you're looking for with this broadcast. Hopefully you get clarity, confirmation, enlightenment, illumination, information, whatever it is. If that is the case, hit that like button, the subscription button, and that notification bell. All right. Again, all of those things definitely help out the channel. All right. So in terms of announcements, I'm going live tomorrow night, same time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, to discuss the astrology for December. So tap in, or at least get ready to tap into the video at some later time after I go live. But just want to let you know that I'm going live tomorrow night. This week on Wednesday, I have the next session of my free live workshop, Your Cosmic Selfie, an intro to your natal chart. It is absolutely free, and it's a great introduction to how to read your natal chart. We're going to read a sample natal chart. We go through some fundamentals. You get some reading material. It's a whole vibe. It's a great thing. And it's a great way to start to understand your natal chart. Because trust and believe, I remember the first time I looked at my natal chart, I'm like, what is this? There's a whole bunch of lines, numbers, symbols. I break it down for you, hopefully in a digestible kind of way, so you can start to understand not only your natal chart, but yourself. And it is absolutely free. So you cannot beat that, right? And if you sign up and you can't make it, you get a copy of the recording. So either way, you win. That's going down this coming Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sign up if you are interested. Link is in the description box below, as well as tag to this video, right? And then the second thing is that my books are definitely still open for the 2025 year ahead reading. And as a matter of fact, up until Saturday, this is discounted. All right. So get it while it's hot. Get it while you can. If you definitely want to know what 2025 has in store for you, then you will definitely want to sign up. I not only talk about the numerology for you for the year, but also a breakdown of all of the important transits and astrological events so that you know what to prepare for, right? And you know kind of what is ahead. So if you're interested, the link to that is in the description box below. And again, this reading is discounted until Saturday, beginning December 1st. You'll have to get it at full price. So I definitely suggest that you get on that sooner rather than later. All right, let's see. Do we have anything else? No, I already mentioned that I'm going live tomorrow. So, all right, that's pretty much it. So let's get into the details for the astrology for this week. And of course, we start with the highlights. So first, we have what I like to call run that back. And that is Mercury going retrograde in Sagittarius. And yes, it brings all of the normal Mercury retrograde things, miscommunication, mishaps, delays, all of that great stuff. However, in the sign of Sagittarius, Mercury retrograde allows us to do one thing really well in a big way. And I will explain that in a little bit. Then we have what I like to call on fire. And this is the sun trine Mars. Now, I just talked about how Mars is set to go retrograde, and it's already starting to slow down a little bit. However, if you are guided to take action, if you want to take action on something, and that something will really depend on where the sun and Mars are in your natal chart, you're going to want to do it this week. All right, and I'll get more into that in a little bit. And then finally, we have 3, 2, 1 launch. And this is the new moon in Sagittarius. If you are looking to take things to new heights, if you are looking to broaden your vantage point, expand your mind, this is going to be the new moon for you. So it's definitely going to be interesting and very optimistic. I really like when the moon is in Sagittarius, particularly when there's a new moon in Sagittarius. Hello, Monarcha. How are you? Thank you so much for joining us this evening. All right, so those are the highlights. So now let's get into the week and see what we got going on. So like I said, kind of a light week, not too much. So we begin with Mercury retrograde. Then we've got the Sun trine the North Node. We've got the Sun trine Mars, Venus square Chiron, and the new moon in Sagittarius. That is all that we have going on this week. All right. And in terms of that, let's look at what the moon is doing this week. So the moon is going to be in the waning crescent phase in both the signs of Libra and Scorpio. It's actually also going to be in the waning crescent phase in Sagittarius on Saturday. And then come Sunday, we'll have that new moon in Sagittarius. So we're at the very last sort of portion of the waning phase this week in order to make our way to the new moon on Sunday. All right. So let's get into the week, speaking of the week, and see what we've got. And of course, we begin with Monday. So today we have the Sun trine the North Node, Mercury retrograde, and we have the waning crescent moon in Libra. All right. So let's see what that looks like on the chart. So at the upper right-hand corner, you will see the Sun at 4 degrees of Sagittarius. It will be, what is it again? Sun trine the North Node. On the left-hand portion of the chart, you will see that horseshoe looking thing. That's the North Node. That is in Aries, and that is at 5 degrees of Aries. We also have Mercury retrograde. So Mercury is also in Sagittarius, so that upper right-hand portion of the chart. And then towards the bottom right-hand portion of the chart, you'll see the moon is at 4 degrees of Libra, at least as of this afternoon. All right, so let's discuss. So first and foremost, let's get it out the way. Let's talk about Mercury retrograde. So Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius. I said it allows us to do this one thing really well and in a big way. All right, and that is going over plans. So Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. If you didn't know, Jupiter is the largest planet in our solar system. So everything having to do with Jupiter is larger than life, right? It's big, it's expansive, right? And so anytime we have any sort of Sagittarius energy, it's like we have this energy of expansion. So typically when Mercury is direct in Sagittarius, as it moved into Sagittarius earlier this month on November 2nd. So since then, Mercury in Sagittarius direct allows you to really dream, right? Sagittarius is like seeing the bigger picture, seeing things from like a 30,000 foot view. And so with Mercury in Sagittarius, it allows you to make big plans, far-reaching plans, long-term plans, if you will. So when Mercury is retrograde in Sagittarius, you have the ability to fine-tune those plans, refine those plans, right? It allows you to be a little more detail-oriented. The one thing about Sagittarius is that it's very expansive, but it's not detail-oriented at all. It's like, I want to be a millionaire. And Mercury in Sagittarius is like, but wait, what do we have to do to be a millionaire? What steps do we have to take, right? So Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius, it sort of allows you to reverse engineer your goals. So thinking of the goal and then each step going backward of how to achieve it, right? The one thing about Mercury retrograde that I absolutely love is that it fosters intentionality. Because things are slower, because there is the propensity for miscommunication, it's like you really have to choose your words carefully. You really have to make sure that you don't hit reply all when you meant to send that nasty email to just one person. Like you have to be intentional. So Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius allows you to be intentional about your dreams, about the bigger picture of life, right? So use it for that. It's wonderful to have dreams, but without a plan, a dream is really just a wish, right? So Mercury retrograde allows you to get intentional about that. So I would say that over the next 3 weeks, do that. Now, everything about Sagittarius energy is like anything having to broaden your horizon and expand your mind. It's great for learning new things. But the learning that Sagittarius is concerned with is like experiential learning, like wisdom gained through experience. Sagittarius wants you to go out there and experience things. And that experience is what adds to your mental library, right? So perhaps there's something that you've been meaning to experience that you haven't. Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius is great for that. Now, Sagittarius energy is also associated with travel. So, if there's a place that you've been meaning to go, but you've never been, particularly a place that's sort of far off, when Mercury is retrograde in Sagittarius, it's actually a great time to do that. Keeping in mind, though, that you may experience delays, travel issues, etc. However, it allows you to revisit certain places, whether those places are in your mind or whether those are physical locations. All right. So using Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius to revisit certain things or revise those bigger plans is definitely the best way to go. Okay. So then also we've got the Sun trine the North Node, and this transit, this aspect is really great for clarity of purpose. So the North Node is in Aries and the Sun is in Sagittarius. Both of those signs are fire signs. Fire signs are concerned with action, with passion, with drive, with motivation, right? And so, like I said, if you are meaning to take action on something, you're definitely going to want to do it this week. Now, you're going to have to look at your natal chart to see where, like, what kind of action to take, right? Because again, we do have Mercury retrograde, and it all depends on where Sagittarius and Aries are in your particular natal chart, right? This, when I say take action, I'm not saying take action on just anything, right? It sort of has to be in alignment with what's going on with you personally via your natal chart. But that Sun trine North Node, it's like having your engine revved up toward your purpose, toward your mission, toward your North Star. Like seeing where your North Star is, because anytime we have the sun in aspect to anything, it brings a certain level of clarity, right? When the sun is shining brightly, you can see things clearly, they are illuminated. The pathway forward may be illuminated right now, and you have this drive, this motivation to really go after it or to really take action. So, if you are guided to, do so, take action, right? Now, just don't take action willy nilly. Now, I say this because the North Node is currently in Aries. Aries can be a little impulsive. Aries doesn't necessarily think things through. It's just like, I feel this, I want this, I'm doing this, right? And there's a time and a place for that. However, when we're talking about something like our North Node, it's like it needs a little bit of thought. It needs a little bit of intention. It needs a little bit of direction, right? So think before you act, look before you leap. But again, this may be a transit where you feel motivated to do something. So if that's the case, then do it, right? Also, if you feel fired up or passionate about something, same thing. All right. And then we close out Monday with the waning crescent moon in Libra. Now, Libra is the sign of relationships, right? When the moon is in Libra, it reminds us that no man is an island, right? Teamwork makes the dream work and all of that other corny shit, right? However, with the waning crescent moon in Libra, it's like some people cannot go with you. Some people are not meant to travel this journey with you. Some relationships are just not, they're just not it. And when the moon is waning in Libra, it's like you kind of got to divest yourself of those relationships. Maybe you're not divesting yourself of those relationships permanently, but maybe you're putting them on pause for a little bit. Now, the South Node is making its way through Libra. So over the last about 16 months, there's been this cleanup when it comes to our relationships. So with the South Node still in Libra and the waning crescent moon in Libra, it's really like, listen, if you don't share the same frequency with someone, if you guys are on different pages, if you guys have different goals and there's really this tug of war kind of energy, then maybe it's time for you to put this relationship to the side. We're fine tuning what we need. We're fine tuning our relationships, the most important ones, the most valuable ones, the ones that are the most equitable, right? That's a very Libran kind of concept, equity and fairness and balanced scales. If you're in a relationship where you're giving, and there's no receptivity, that's imbalanced. Or if you're just taking and not giving, same thing. South Node in Libra and waning crescent moon in Libra is like, listen, you got to fix this. You either got to fix it or you got to go. Ship up or shape out. Shape up or ship out. That's what I meant to say. So yeah, and here's the thing. Like let's get real for a second. Let's talk reality. That's not an easy thing, right? Especially if we've been in this relationship for a long time, especially if it's someone like a longtime friend, a family member, even a romantic relationship. Coming to terms with the fact that a relationship is not equitable and divesting yourself of it is not an easy thing by any means necessary. However, it may be necessary, right? It may be that that relationship is hindering you from where you need to go. Or maybe it's like dead weight, right? You could get from point A to B in a day, but because perhaps of the energy of this relationship, it's taking you a year, right? And it's not to say that these people are bad or anything like that, but it's just you got places to go and things to do, just like they do. If everyone were really concerned with their energetic match, I think we'd live in a much different world. I think there are a lot of people that are cognizant of it, but sometimes we hold on to people, places, and things out of comfort, out of fear, out of a lot of different things, and it's not an energetic match for us. And that can contribute to delays in our life. It can contribute to unnecessary hardship. It can contribute to, you know, a lot of different things. So I say all that to say with the South Node in Libra, waning crescent moon in Libra, you kind of know what to do if those relationships aren't working out for you. All right. So that is Monday. So next up, we are going to move to Wednesday. So this is what it's looking like on Wednesday. We've got the Sun trine Mars, Venus square Chiron, and the waning crescent moon in Scorpio. Right. So let's see what this looks like on the chart. So at the right-hand portion of the chart, you'll see Venus at 19 degrees of Capricorn. You will see at the top portion of the chart that little green key that is Chiron, that is at 19 degrees of Aries. Then we have Sun trine Mars. In that middle circle on the right, you'll see the Sun at 6 degrees of Sagittarius. And at the bottom left-hand portion, you'll see Mars at 5 degrees of Leo. And then we have the moon in Scorpio, which we will see at the bottom portion of the chart. All right, so let's begin with Sun trine Mars. So just like the Sun trine the North Node, which we're experiencing today, the Sun trine Mars is also going to give you that clarity of purpose and that motivation and drive. I feel like these two transits, again, namely Sun trine North Node and Sun trine Mars, they kind of feel the same because all of these things, let me not say things, all of these planets and points are in fire signs. The Sun is in Sagittarius, Mars is in Leo. This is about going after the things that you're passionate about. This is about experiencing life, taking action. I dare say, despite the fact what I said earlier about things slowing down, this is sort of the universe's way of saying, listen, last call, things are going to get a lot slower. So if you need to take action on something, especially with this transit, Sun trine Mars definitely lends itself to starting something new. Now understand that this is just starting, right? Especially if it's something that's valuable to you, if it's a long-term goal, it's like you just have to take a baby step. You don't have to do the most. You don't have to be all extra with it, but take one action step before things really start to slow down, right? And again, something that you're passionate about. This could be a passion project, something like a creative endeavor. This could be taking a trip, anything that's kind of Leo or anything that's kind of Sagittarius. These are the things that you're going to want to take action on under this transit. And again, you're going to want to look at your natal chart to decipher what that is, right? And if you have no idea what that is, sign up for my natal chart workshop. Link is in the description box below. All right. But either way, that fire, that passion, that drive, and that motivation, you're going to feel that this week. So heed the call, use the energy while you have it, essentially. All right. Then we've also got Venus square Chiron. Now, Venus square Chiron is one of those transits where it brings up our insecurities. It can bring out some of our fears, our hangups, particularly around Venusian type things, namely money or relationships. Now, since Venus is in Capricorn, it's likely that this is probably a money thing. Now, Chiron is in Aries, and Chiron in Aries is really having you motivated to work out your shit, right? Like, it's about, it feels almost like being proactive about doing healing work. Cool. Venus in Capricorn can be very stuck in the mud in the sense that you may be like, okay, I really want to work on some things. Like, right? Let's say that you are ready to be in a committed relationship, but you know that you've got some things to work out within yourself. Chiron in Aries is like, let's start going to therapy. Venus in Capricorn is like, we ain't got money for that and insurance isn't going to cover it. So that's kind of how that could play out, right? There could be an obstacle or a delay or a challenge when it comes to this motivation to heal yourself or be proactive about healing. On the other hand, the flip side of that is Venus in Capricorn wants to invest in something. Venus in Capricorn wants to put roots down. But Chiron in Aries is like, but can you do that? Are you worthy of doing that? It's like Chiron in Aries is really activating your insecurities or your fears or your hangups, right? So either way, this could be a somewhat frustrating transit. This could be a time when you're looking to move forward, you're looking to take action, yet you feel a little stuck. And that's okay because that stuckness allows you to be intentional and really see things for what they are. That's sort of the blessing in disguise when it comes to things slowing down or even things being stagnant. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that stagnancy is a great thing. Prolonged stagnancy is not necessarily the best. However, stagnancy does have a certain place in our lives. So imagine you're taking a road trip, right? And perhaps what's popping in my head is this Pacific Northwest, particularly in the fall, right? The colors of the trees, it's so beautiful, right? But if you are speeding through it, if you just are one track minded and you're just like, I just need to get to my destination as fast as I can, you miss the journey, you miss the beauty along the way. So stagnancy or things moving a little slow, it fosters opportunities for appreciation. It gets you to really see things for what they are rather than just breezing past things. And it shows you sometimes what you need to work on. Maybe the stagnancy is attributed to something that you're doing or not doing. If you didn't have that stagnancy, you wouldn't see that and it might trip you up further on down the road. So there's a place for that. So I say that to say Venus square Chiron, whatever comes up, work through it. Understand that not all obstacles are forever. But sometimes maybe they're a little longer lasting than you would like. Just do your best to work through them and learn the lessons that you were supposed to learn along the way. And maybe that lesson is enjoying the beauty of where you are or appreciating what you already have. Okay. And then we have the moon moving into Scorpio in the waning crescent phase also. And moon in Scorpio is also very intense. Moon in Scorpio was like, oh, all those repressed emotions you had since childhood. Yeah, I'm going to bring some of them up maybe. Or really intense, deep, dark things are coming to the surface. That's the realm of Scorpio. However, I love when the moon is waning in Scorpio. That allows you to rid yourself of bad habits. You know, Scorpio is associated with things like obsession, manipulation, power struggles, things that we deem unsavory, right? But also anything in your life that you deem unsavory, or it's almost like, you know, how when you have a plant and you have to prune it every so often, and pruning it is like taking off the dead leaves. That's what the waning moon in Scorpio is like. It's like pruning your plant, getting rid of the dead leaves. If you've got roots that are rotten, right? You remove the rotten roots and then you replant that plant. That is what the waning moon in Scorpio is like. So whatever is rotten, dried out, or dead in your life, it's time to divest yourself of that. And the moon in Scorpio will help you out immensely. Think of it this way. Every time we have a new moon, you have a fresh garden, or you should have a fresh garden. The waning moon allows you to pick up all those weeds, the garbage, remnants of the harvest from before, so that you have this fresh soil in which to plant these seeds at the new moon. So use it for that. Use the moon in Scorpio in the waning phase to prune your plants. Right? All right. So that's Wednesday. So now let's move on to Saturday. So on Saturday, all we have is the waning crescent moon in Sagittarius. And then this is what it looks like on the chart. You'll see at the left-hand side of the chart, we've got quite a few things in Sagittarius. This is what is known as a Sagittarius stellium. Okay. So the moon is not quite in the new moon phase. It will just have entered Sagittarius on Saturday. And so Sagittarius, like I said before, is ruled by Jupiter, so it's larger than life. So when the moon is in Sagittarius, everything is larger than life. Moon in Sagittarius fosters growth, development, and expansion. But when the moon is waning in Sagittarius, it can really show you where you are limited. All Sagittarius energy wants to do is help you grow. But if something is not helping you grow, it's arguably limiting you. And you become aware of these things when the moon is in Sagittarius. Where are you limiting yourself, or where are outside circumstances limiting you? Where are you playing small? Where are you, what would I say? Where are you sort of staying put as opposed to soaring, right? When the moon is in Sagittarius in the waning phase, that is what we become aware of. You said something about the way you said that reminds me of when Jasmine said to Jafar, I will have the power to get rid of you. He in the classic cartoon, Aladdin. I love that. If anyone remembers that. I don't remember that line, but yes, I remember Aladdin. Classic, absolute classic. But yes, where are you limiting yourself? Understanding that is what can help you grow. It's what can help you soar. It's what can help you expand. Now, it's not always the case that we can get rid of what is limiting us. However, I think the first step is knowing what's limiting you. And again, the waning moon in Sagittarius does just that. And then we end the week on a high note with the new moon in Sagittarius. And let's see what this looks like on the chart. You will see both the sun and the moon will be at 9 degrees of Sagittarius. Now, Mercury is in close proximity, but the energy of Mercury is still a bit far in terms of affecting the energy of this new moon. Okay. So it's really going to be about new beginnings. It's really going to be about planting new seeds and setting new intentions that allow you to expand, that allow you to grow, that allow you to experience life. You know, one of the words that really come to mind when I think about Sagittarius energy is like daredevil. And daredevil in the sense of being willing to take a risk, especially a risk that's far beyond your comfort zone. It's about, being a little risky, being spontaneous. So this is one of those new moons that's kind of fun, a little playful, but very much it has this energy of being alive, right? You know, when you do something spontaneously, when you venture out of your comfort zone, there's this exhilaration that I think at least accompanies that. And so you get to plant seeds that are exhilarating to you. Of course, you want to look at where Sagittarius is in your chart. That will let you know what seeds you want to plant. Like, let's say you are a Gemini rising. That means that Sagittarius is your 7th house of relationships. An exhilarating relationship may be a seed that you plant. Maybe you've got Sagittarius as your 10th house of career and public life. A career change, a career move, some upward mobility in your social status or your job or career may be the seeds that you want to plant. So essentially, like I said, everything that is exhilarating to you, everything that'll take you out of your comfort zone, everything that will expand your mind and broaden your horizons, these are the seeds that you're going to want to plant at this new moon. You don't necessarily want to play it safe. And when I say be risky, I don't mean be reckless, right? But risky is like, okay, what would I normally not do? What's something that would feel slightly uncomfortable, but really exciting and exhilarating? Those are the seeds you want to plant at this new moon. Now, the new moon is also going to be trine to Mars, I believe. So there's going to be this energy of motivation, desire, even this energy of want this, I'm going to get it. I'm going to go after it, right? It's arguably a new moon where you can be a little selfish, where you can really tap into your desires, where you can really plant seeds that you're really passionate about. There's a lot of fire energy with this new moon, right? So plant seeds that you're fired up about, that make you feel exhilarated, that make you feel alive, that will open you up to new experiences, right? Like, let's say you've got Sagittarius as your ninth house. I believe that would make you an Aries rising. The ninth house is the house of travel. So if you've wanted to travel halfway around the world, plant those seeds. It's not to say that you're going to take this trip at the new moon, right? But maybe you start saving, maybe you start researching, maybe you start putting money aside or getting people together, getting everyone in the group chat to plan this trip, right? Doing something fun, exciting, and that you're passionate about. And I love that, not just to end the week, but to start the new month of December. Now, again, things are going to start to slow down after that. So again, this is the week. If you want to make some moves, even if they're baby steps, especially if it has anything to do with your purpose, your mission, what your North Star, where you want to go, what you're passionate about, what you're fired up about, take at least one action step this week before it gets harder to do so. And in closing, understand that Mercury retrograde is not your enemy. Understand that it gives you the opportunity to be intentional. It gives you the opportunity to refine those dreams and those goals. And it allows us to slow down, which is never, in my opinion, a bad thing. All right, my love. So that concludes this edition of the weekly Astro Forecast. I sincerely hope that you were able to get at least one important piece of information that you can use going into this week and beyond. As mentioned before, for information about all of my products, services, and everything that's going on, it's in the description box below and or tagged to this video. All right, my loves. Have an amazing week. Tune in tomorrow night, same time, same place for the monthly Astro Forecast. And I will see you then. Have a great night, my loves.